something is happening with Anthony Davis and the Los Angeles Lakers that nobody is talking about loudly enough. And the decisions made in the next several months could completely reshape the path of this team for the next 10 years. Welcome to Lakers News Fan Report, your daily place for breaking news, insider talk, and the real conversations driving the future of our Los Angeles Lakers. I bring you special points of view on every list decision, every strategic move, and every development that affects our chance to win a championship. Today, I'm going deep into a situation that connects Anthony Davis's legacy, the Lakers' chance to compete, and whether this organization is ready to make the most of what could be the final best years of one of the greatest big men in NBA history. Let me start by showing where Anthony Davis stands in the NBA right now, because this is very important for understanding what comes next. AD is averaging 24.3 points, 11.8 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 1.4 steals, and 2.1 blocks per game this season, while shooting 55.2% from the field. Those numbers put him among the very best players in this league who can truly be great on both offense and defense. His offensive rating of 118, combined with a defensive rating of 108, shows that when he's on the court, the Lakers are much better in every way you can measure. This isn't just about raw stats. It's about an effect that turns directly into winning basketball. The challenge that keeps Lakers leaders awake at night isn't whether Anthony Davis can play at a top level, because we've seen many times that when healthy, he's one of the 5 best players in the whole league. The challenge is availability, staying healthy, and how to build a championship list around a player whose injury history creates real worries about being there consistently throughout an 82-game season, plus the playoffs. AD has dealt with everything from ankle sprains to knee problems to shoulder issues over his career. And while none of these have been terrible, the total effect creates list-building problems that need smart, strategic thinking. Now here's where the situation becomes really interesting, from both a basketball and organizational point of view. Anthony Davis is 32 years old, entering what should be the last part of his best years, but still playing at a level that suggests he has several more top seasons ahead of him. His contract situation creates a decision point that the Lakers must handle very carefully. Do you commit long-term money to a player with his injury history? Do you build the whole future of the team around him as the main piece? Or do you protect yourself by keeping options open while trying to compete for championships right now? The Lakers front office has been great in certain parts of list building over the past few years, but they've also made decisions that created problems. The focus on cheap one-year contracts and lack of middle-level talent has sometimes left the list thin when injuries happen. The inability to consistently develop young talent through the draft because of trading future picks has limited options for cheap, controllable players. Every decision in the NBA creates effects that impact future options, and the Lakers have sometimes chosen immediate competition over long-term ability to keep going. But let's talk specifically about what Anthony Davis brings to this organization that makes him impossible to replace in ways that go beyond just box score stats. His defensive flexibility allows the Lakers to switch across many positions, which is absolutely needed in modern NBA playoff basketball. He can guard everyone from point guards on the outside to traditional centers near the basket. And that ability to switch is what makes defensive plans work against top offensive teams. Without AD's defensive presence, the Lakers would need to completely change their defensive identity, and finding another player who gives that level of flexibility at the big man position is almost impossible in today's market. Offensively, Davis provides something equally rare and valuable. He's a real floor-spacing big man who can hit mid-range jumpers consistently, attack when defenders run at him, finish at the basket with either hand, and work as the roller in pick-and-roll plays. That offensive flexibility means the Lakers can run many different offensive plans depending on matchups and game situations. When you put that together with LeBron James's playmaking and vision, you get offensive plays that are nearly impossible to defend when done right. The chemistry between LeBron and AD has been the base of every successful time this team has had since the 2020 championship. Speaking of LeBron, his presence and timeline create more complexity in the Anthony Davis question. LeBron is 40 years old, and while he continues to play at a very high level, Father Time remains undefeated in sports history. The Lakers' championship window with LeBron as a main helper is realistically the next 2 to 3 years maximum. That creates a need to hurry to make the most of this current list build, while at the same time planning for a post-LeBron time, where Anthony Davis would probably become the clear face of the team. Those two goals aren't necessarily opposite, but they require different ways of list building and resource use. The question that Lakers fans should be asking is whether the organization is doing everything possible to put championship-level talent around Anthony Davis right now. The supporting players have been inconsistent, with some players doing better than expected, while others have done worse, relative to their contracts. The lack of a steady third scoring choice beyond LeBron and AD has been a problem in playoff situations, where defenses can focus and make role players beat them. The defensive depth behind AD isn't enough to keep great defense when he needs rest or misses games because of injury. These are fixable problems, but they require strategic moves and possibly hard decisions about the current list. Let me address the big thing in the room that some fans don't want to discuss. Honestly, there have been talks in league circles about Anthony Davis's long-term future with the Lakers, not because of any unhappiness on his part, but because other teams recognize his value and would love to get him if the chance ever came. The situation I've seen discussed involves teams with young players and future draft picks being willing to make huge trade packages if they believed AD might be available. Now, I want to be super clear that I'm not reporting AD is being offered around or that the Lakers have any plan to move him. What I'm saying is that his value around the league is so high that teams are always looking at whether they could make offers that might be too good for any team to say no to. The made-up plan I've heard discussed involves good playoff teams looking to add a superstar big man who could push them into real championship competition. Think about teams with solid lists that are missing that one great big man to finish their puzzle. They would be willing to give up many rotation players, future first-round picks, and young prospects to get someone of AD's level. From a purely player asset point of view, if a team offered 3 or 4 high-quality rotation players plus many unprotected first-round picks, that's the type of package that organizations are forced to seriously think about, no matter what they first thought. But here's why I believe the Lakers should absolutely not think about any trade situations involving Anthony Davis unless something dramatically changes. First, you cannot copy his two-way effect through several lesser players. The NBA isn't a game where 3 good players equal 1 great player, especially at the big man position. Second, the Lakers' championship window with LeBron depends completely on having a second superstar, and AD is that player. Trading him would basically give up the next 2 to 3 years, which is not okay, given LeBron's legacy and what he means to this team. Third, the post-LeBron time needs a base, and AD is the perfect player to build around as he moves into being the clear leader of the organization. Instead of thinking about trade situations, the Lakers should be strongly going after contract extension talks with Anthony Davis. Lock him in long-term, build list continuity around him, and send a clear message to the rest of the league that he's not for trade. Yes, there's injury risk involved in any long-term contract, but the other choice of letting uncertainty hang around creates distractions and stops the organization from making other moves with confidence. Great organizations find their franchise cornerstones and commit to them, then figure out how to build winning lists around those core pieces. The supporting list building is where the Lakers need to show new ideas and strategic skill. They need to find athletic, flexible wings who can guard many positions and make open three-pointers. They need to add a real backup center who can provide 15 to 20 quality minutes when AD needs rest or is playing power forward. They need to develop young talent through the G League and two-way contracts, rather than depending only on cheap one-year signings. The model exists in teams like Denver and Milwaukee, who've built championship lists around superstar big men by surrounding them with pieces that add to their strengths. The Lakers' training staff and medical team also need to be given every resource possible to keep Anthony Davis healthy throughout the season. That means resting when needed, even if it's not popular with fans who want to see him play every game. It means having specific plans for keeping his body healthy throughout the tough 82-game schedule. It means being smart about his minutes and not wearing him out during meaningless regular season times. The goal isn't to get 75 games out of AD in the regular season if it means he's too tired to be great in the playoffs. The goal is to have him at 100% health and energy when May and June come. Looking at successful models from around the league, the teams that win championships almost always have at least one great two-way big man. The Bucks won with Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Nuggets won with Nikola Jokic. The Warriors dynasty had Draymond Green playing great defense at the 5 position. The Lakers' own 2020 championship was built on Anthony Davis playing center and being great on both ends of the floor. This isn't luck. It's basic basketball reality that controlling the paint and protecting the basket while also being able to score efficiently inside remains the base of championship basketball. AD gives the Lakers that base, and walking away from it would be organizational failure. The pressure on Lakers leaders right now is huge because the room for error is very small. Every list decision, every contract talk, every trade deadline move either moves you closer to or further from championship competition. The luxury tax effects are big given the Lakers' payroll, but the owners have shown they are willing to spend when the list justifies it. The question is whether the current front office has the creativity and courage to make the moves needed to build a true championship team around the LeBron-AD core, while also planning for the future. One part that doesn't get discussed enough is Anthony Davis's leadership growth over the past few years. Early in his career, there were questions about whether he had the personality and force to be the clear top player on a championship team. But watching his development in LA, especially during the 2020 championship run, and in moments where LeBron has been out. AD has shown he can carry the offensive load and be a vocal leader in the locker room. That growth is very important, because when LeBron eventually retires, the Lakers will need AD to step fully into that number one role, and he's shown he can handle it. The connection between AD and the younger players on the list is another good sign for the organization. Guys like Austin Reeves and Max Christie gain a lot from playing next to a superstar who draws defensive attention and creates easier scoring chances through his presence. The way AD has accepted teaching younger teammates suggests he understands his role goes beyond just personal performance to helping develop the next generation of Lakers helpers. That's the type of culture building that championship organizations need from their franchise players. Now, let me address what I'm hearing about the Lakers' internal talks regarding Anthony Davis's role and future. The organization is completely committed to building around him as a key piece, but there are ongoing conversations about how to best use him to make the most of both immediate competition and long-term health. Some within the organization want him to play more minutes at power forward next to a traditional center, thinking that reduces the physical cost of fighting centers every night. Others say his defensive flexibility and basket protection are too valuable to not have him playing center for big parts of games. Finding the right balance is key and probably needs flexibility based on matchups and game situations. The reality that Lakers fans need to accept is that Anthony Davis's injury history isn't going away, and managing his workload throughout the season will stay a constant challenge. But that doesn't mean he's not worth building around, or that the Lakers should be looking at other choices. It means being smart, being strategic, and having enough list depth that when AD misses games, the team can still compete rather than completely falling apart. The Bucks give a good model here, where they built enough around Giannis that they can win games when he sits. But when he plays, they're real championship teams. Looking ahead to the rest of this season and beyond, my expectation is that Anthony Davis will continue being the Lakers' most important player on both ends of the floor. I expect the organization to extend him long-term, probably this summer, with a contract that shows both his superstar status and the team's need for long-term cost certainty. I expect the Lakers to make moves at the trade deadline or in free agency to add the types of complementary pieces that championship lists need. And I truly believe that if the health holds up and the list building improves, this team has the core pieces needed to compete for championships. Not just this year, but for several more years. The way forward needs commitment from all sides. Anthony Davis needs to continue his growth as a leader and keep his great two-way play. The Lakers front office needs to surround him with the right complementary pieces and manage his workload smartly. The coaching staff needs to use plans that make the most of his strengths while reducing unnecessary physical punishment. The training staff needs to keep him healthy and ready for the marathon of an NBA season. When all those parts line up, we've seen what this team can do, and it's championship-level basketball. So, here's my honest look at where things stand. Anthony Davis is absolutely the right player for the Lakers to build around. His two-way greatness, his age and experience, his connection to the organization and city all point toward him being the face of this team for years to come. The questions aren't about whether he's good enough or worth it. They're about whether the Lakers can build the right supporting list and manage his health well enough to make the most of the championship window. Those are fixable problems that require smart management and strategic thinking, but they're absolutely fixable. Now, I want to hear directly from you on this situation. Do you believe the Lakers should offer Anthony Davis a maximum contract extension this summer? How would you build the supporting list to best add to his skills and playing style? What moves should the Lakers be looking at the trade deadline to improve this list's championship chances? Should AD play more minutes at the 4 or the 5 going forward? This is a discussion that affects all of us as Lakers fans, and your points of view matter. Leave your detailed thoughts in the comments below. If this deep dive gave you a full understanding of Anthony Davis's situation and what it means for the Lakers' future, make sure you're subscribed to Lakers News Fan Report and hit that notification bell. I bring you daily updates on every list move, every strategic decision, and every development affecting our search for banner number 18. This is where you get talk that goes beyond surface level, looking at the real factors that decide championship competition. Hit that like button, share this with every Lakers fan you know, and let's keep this important conversation going. Press that subscribe button, turn on notifications so you never miss a video, and share this with others. In Pen and PM.